Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your pseudocoder. So, today our topic is about data types. I'm not here to explain the theory behind data types and all. We are going to calculate these values. It's a tip-centric, you can say, I can tell you for this topic. like Sometimes it happens now, you are calculating something someone asks you, you should remember these values, you should know how much these values is. It's not worthy that you remember these values. Only there are the few data types whose value are to be mostly asked in our interview questions. If in case you are IT guy and preparing for an interview, or any of the IT industry people who has MCQ based exam, maybe in the higher exams like higher studies, or any, if you are giving any exam, any exam also, or for your general knowledge also, if somebody asks you in your viva or oral, you should know how these values comes, how they work behind the scene. So firstly, we will talk about the types of data type. So somebody said that, oh, the types of data type are char, short, int, long, float, double. I said, okay, you're right. But I'm talking about the types. These are the you can say data type names. There is also one types of data types. Quite confusing. Okay, let's understand. Let's go to the white screen. Okay, types of data types. Data types also have a type. Okay, number one is unsigned. Number second is signed. Now, somebody who has not first impression, what anyone will say, okay, unsigned means it is a negative. Sorry, it's a positive, and signed means it has a negative sign. Your logic is correct, but not correctly. Actually, what has happened that sign means it contains both positive and negative values. Okay, and coming towards the unsigned, these have only positive values, just positive. There are no other types allowed. It accepts only positive values, and signed it accepts both positive and negative. So why is it like that? So in our mathematics, you must be aware of some concepts such as number line. Okay. So in the number line, so this is the something number line I have drawn. So in the number line, you know that on this side we have negative ones, on this side we have positive ones. Okay. So it is something like that only. So that's why if I come towards my screen, that's why we have two values, minus 128 to 127. Some people say, why is it here 128? Why is it here 127? No, it is like you have to count 0 also. From 0 to 127. If you know the concept of indexing, the indexing any, I can say, start from 0 up to the 127 here. It's equal to 128 positive numbers and 128 negative numbers. That's why signed has both positive as well as negative values. So this was all about the types. How to calculate this range? There are many ways. You can either you can say calculate manually, or you can just remember it. But remember can be it's a very tedious task. For example, if I take the data type char, so its size is 1 byte. Okay. 1 byte equals to what? 8 bits. Okay. This you should know. So bits means it has bits can be 0 or 1. The binary format, if you know, bits are means 0 or 1. Like machine only understands the machine language, that is 0 or 1, that is the binary format. So char has 1 byte equals to 8 bits, and bits can be either 0 or 1. So it can be a 8 bits number. Okay. So here you can see 0 and 1. How much these are? These are 2 values. Okay. Right. So after that, okay. Yeah. After that, what is 2 to the power 8? Imagine. Don't just calculate. Don't just remember these values. Just say, what is 2 raised to 8? It is equals to 256, right? So 256, I'm going to divide it by 2. Okay. Then it comes what? 128. Sorry. When we divide it by 2, it gives 128. Okay. Someone asked me that why did you divide it by 2 only? I already told him that sign requires both positive and negative. For that purpose, I divided it by 2. Number line has 2 parts. That's why it is divided by 2. And why it is 2 to the power 8 here? Because the binary numbers 0, 1, these are 2 values. So 2 to the power 8, it is equals to 128. That's why. So now it is what? 128 plus what we do? 127 for the positive numbers plus 1 we are going to include for the 0. Okay, that is equals to what? It is equals to what? 256 bytes. That's why it came here 256. Either you can remember 2 raised to 8 is 256, or otherwise you can know this behind the concept also, that how the value was 256. It was 128 for the negative ones, 127 for the positive ones, and 1 for the 0. That's why it came like this. Don't confuse here, just understand the concept. Okay, that's why therefore the range becomes minus 128 to what? 127. Okay, this is what is written here. That's it. We are able to calculate it. Okay, someone asked me, okay, this is for the signed char. What about unsigned char? Like, you need only positive values. So in the unsigned char, will you write just 127? No, it is not like that. Again, you have to do the 2 raised to 8. That is 256. 2 to the power 8 equals to 256. So the unsigned char will have a range of what? 0 to how much? 255. This will be the range value for unsigned char. Next, in the interview, they ask about which data type. Next is which? Int. About the int they ask. Int basic, like how much does it take? Default int takes 2 bytes. If you take long int, then it becomes 4 bytes. So 2 bytes equals to 16 bits, right? Up we have written 8, now it's 16. Again we have to do 2 raised to 16. 2 to the power 16. It is equals to what? 65536 divided by what? 2. Because now we are talking about the signed value. Okay. Next, default it is signed only until it is specified unsigned. Okay. Now what we are doing, the value comes 32768. Okay. And this is for what? This is for negative minus 32768 and positive up to what? 3267. Okay, 1 second. 32767. So this is the range of int data type. Okay. And what about the unsigned int? Unsigned is also same. What was the value of 2 raised to 8? Sorry, 2 raised to 16. Unsigned it was 65536. Actually it is that much only, but here it is a unsigned. That means we want positive. So it will come up to this including 0. Now it is unsigned. 0 to this. That means 65535 plus 1 for this, as I have written here also. It comes this value, that is 65536, which is 2 to the power 60. So is it necessary that you should remember this limits value always? By looking at this calculation, it is not. You can calculate it manually, and we are going to see one program also for this. So today's our main title, I can say, for this video will be how to calculate, let me write it, how to calculate limits using C program. Okay, using C program, and manually I have shown you how behind the scenes the calculation works. And usually up to this only they ask. They don't ask everyone value. And even if you start solving the programs, you can know like, okay, this has this value, because you need to know this range in your mind, or you should able to calculate it manually. Because if you enter like there is a specific range, like first you will like float is smaller than double, highest rank is of the long double. This you should know, because if you enter in the shorter data type, the long value or the decimal value, it will throw error. So we know that by default int value is like size is 2 bytes. So why it is written here 4 bytes? This is for the long int. It depends upon how you are using. By default it is 2, but if you are using long, then it becomes this. This we have calculated. Okay. Moving on towards the program. Let's just calculate it. Okay. So this is our program. Like first is standard input output.h, header file. Next, limits. If I talk about this limits file, what about this limits file? Limits file, it contains the global variables. Which type of global variables? Okay, it means global variables like I have declared here somewhat. These three. I will explain it. Wait for a while. So this limits file.h, like header file, has predefined variables. All these are global variables. Also we can call as constant variables. Constant variables, why? Because you can't modify them. Okay, so global why? Because you can access anywhere from them. Okay, so what do I mean by that? This is called as short data type, which has minimum we are going to calculate its range, and next is a short whose maximum value we are going to call, and next is unsigned short whose maximum value we are going to. So why there is written minimum and why here is maximum? I have told you that in the sign it has both value, minimum and maximum. Okay, and unsigned has only positive. That's why it is here max only. So like similarly, like you have a short, similarly you can calculate the value of int, you can calculate the value for char. I've shown in the example that we have to calculate for the char. Let's calculate for the char also. I will just copy the line. Okay, so this is, so for the char, and these are always written in the alphabetical way, that means capital letters. So for the char, we are going to count the maximum value. Also, wait, I will change here char. Sorry, the caphonos. And why I have written a percentage d? Because I want the values in the integer format. That's why. And it's independent of what actual format specifiers they use, but it's upon me how I'm going to print the value. Okay, let's print the char minimum value also. Okay, I'm going to write here char min value, and I'm going to change here also char minimum value. MIN stands for minimum. Likewise, if you want, you can experiment by calculating the limit of long. So this is like using the program, you can calculate it, or another ways you can do the manual way, but you should know how behind the scene where it doesn't give randomly some values or garbage values. These are the actual values behind the scene, how they work. Okay, now just we are going to execute it, compile and run. Yeah, here it gave values, you can see. Okay. So we just calculate for the sign, it was minus 121 minimum, and maximum it was that. This also we have calculated. Okay, this also we have calculated. So in this way, either you can use these global variables or constant variables using the program you can find. Like for example, the size of value gives you the actual size of the data types. Then you find it by that way, or you just say that you just remember it. Okay, so similarly in the limits also you can calculate it manually, otherwise you can use this program, but don't try to remember these values, just use the calculation part and just remember the part how I have taught you in this video. Okay, so this was a simple but short and tips and tricks video. See you guys till the next time. Signing off. Thank you.